Hey guys, this is deadatzero again, and today I'm going to talk about Guild Wars 2's fighting mechanics. First off, I'm going to talk about the dodge mechanic. The dodge mechanic in Guild Wars 2 is actually a mechanic. It's not like in other MMOs where it's just to roll the dice to see if your opponent misses or not. In Guild Wars 2, when you dodge, you actually have to press a button. It's either a specific button on your mouse or keyboard, or you can double tap a directional key. This will actually make your character physically roll out of the way. And what this does is, while your character's in this animation, he doesn't take any damage for like 1 second or so. So that gives you enough time to, if you time it right, you can more or less block an opponent's skill. An example would be if a warrior is using an axe and he comes at you with a skill that would kill you, so you're low on health. You dodge out of the way of that skill right before it hits you, and then that warrior no longer can use that skill until its timer's up. You didn't take any damage, and now you're farther away from him. So you can either shoot him or run away or anything like that. Next up is line of sight. Line of sight in Guild Wars 2 is a lot of like other MMOs. If you can't see them, you can't shoot them. But in Guild Wars 2, you can also shoot at them, but if they're too far away, your either arrow or fireball or bullets or whatever will just drop to the ground and not hit anything. They'll just dissipate into midair or something, I don't know. Which is pretty cool. That means you can fire off your skills before they're in line of sight, and if they walk in to your range before the arrow hits the ground or whatever, you'll actually hit them, which I think is pretty cool. And they can actually dodge out of the way or walk out of the way. Like I know in Guild Wars 1, you could, like if you was walking like strafing to the left and they shot an arrow, if you like went to the right real quick, the arrow would miss you, which was pretty cool. Next, I'm going to talk about timers, cooldowns, casts, all that kind of stuff. Okay, what we got? All Guild Wars 2 skills are on a timer. Once you use the skill, it goes into more or less a lockdown state where you can't use it anymore until your time's up. There's going to be no skills in the game that can decrease the time. That's how ArenaNet says they're going to balance the skills. Opportunity cost. Also, you can cast while moving, which is pretty cool. I think you can cast every spell except for channeled spells. Like the Mesmer's greatsword attack that shoots a purple beam out. You cannot move while you're casting that, but you can move while you're shooting fireballs from elemental list staff or whatever they use. They have no cast times. Instead, you have animations. And like in World of Warcraft, everything was a cast time. You had like a 2-second cast, and then a 4-second cast, or an instant cast. In Guild Wars 2, all your animations, say you're using a axe as a warrior. An axe swings slower, but it does more damage. If I remember correctly, how the ArenaNet's described it is an axe has a long startup, a very quick swing, and a long follow through. And since there are no cast times, the animation is actually the cast time. Because if your animation doesn't hit anything, then they won't take any damage, which is pretty cool also. That's another topic. Next is, let's see here. Well, I guess I can talk about that for a second. In Guild Wars 2, if you swing at something, or you shoot an arrow, or you shoot a fireball, or you lay down a trap or an AoE, you don't do any damage unless it actually hits your opponent. Your opponents actually have hitboxes, and if you like swing a great sword and it does an arc, you'll actually hit anybody in that arc, not just the person that you're aiming at, which is really, really cool. I think that was, I've seen a couple of videos from the Gamescom where a warrior was just swinging a sword, and as he was swinging it, 2 or 3 extra mobs jumped in, and they actually took damage also instead of his main target. And I thought that was really cool. And all of this ties in to the holy trinity that Guild Wars 2 is changing. I won't say getting rid of, because the way they've got it set up, it's still there, but not the way people think. In normal MMOs like SWTOR or World of Warcraft, you have the holy trinity of tank, healer, DPS. That's the only things you can do. And if you don't have those, you can't do anything. I mean, if you don't have a healer for an in-game raid, then you can't even beat the trash mobs. Or if you don't have a tank, screw that. You can't even get in there, maybe. I don't even know. But that's besides the point. What Guild Wars 2 is going for is, instead of tank, healer, DPS, they're going to go support, control, and DPS. This is a much, much broader range of skills that you can lump into those. Let's, for an example, support. You can lay down buffs, you can lay down walls, you can throw out area effect heals. For control, you can lay down poison traps, stuns, chaos storms, tornadoes. And for DPS, you can do DPS, engineers can put down turrets, elementals can put down firewalls, rangers can barrage, that kind of thing. And the thing is that if you get rid of the tank and the healer classes, and you make everybody do everything, but in a way that it seems different. See, everybody can DPS, everybody can tank, and everybody can heal in Guild Wars 2. But the way they do it is completely different. Take the warrior and the necromancer, for instance. These 2 classes have the highest HP in the game. The warrior, because he has a high HP pool and armor, and has skills to defend. And the necromancer is because he has shadow form and lynch form, and he has life drains and that kind of thing. And you can say, well, they got high HP. One has armor. He must be the tank. But you would be wrong, because he might have high HP and wear steel armor, but it doesn't matter if bosses can 3-shot you. Or, because if you don't have a healer to back you up, what are you going to do when a boss takes 20% of your health if he hits you? And that's the point. To be good in groups in Guild Wars 2, people are going to have to switch out roles. They're going to have to do frontline, midline, and backline all at the same time. Say, whoever you've got, say you go in a 5-man dungeon. You got a warrior, an elementalist, a engineer, a guardian, and a mesmer. You might think, well, I'll put the guardian and the warrior up front, but that's just 2 people taking damage with no healer. So you're going to have to switch out. You're going to have to rotate what people are doing and give the other people time to heal up. And in my mind, this means that the best groups are going to be able to cooperate together. They're going to be able to look at the situation and judge very quickly what needs to be done and how to do it. Because if you cannot make a decision fast and make the right decision, then I estimate that Guild Wars 2 is going to be a very hard game for a lot of people, because they have the mentality that they're either a tank or healer or DPS. And with that mentality, they're shoehorning themselves into, I don't know how to explain it, but they're lowering their capacity to get the job done. If they can only think in one way and do it only a certain way, and feel like their team has to do the other parts. Thank you guys for watching. Please rate, subscribe, comment. Especially comment you have any topics that you would like me to talk about, or anything that I need to do, any suggestions, anything like that. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later.